Welcome to the Business Health and Mindset Podcast. I'm Kate. Great to have you here today, and thank you for your time. This episode, I'm looking at how to overcome stress with your mind. Now, this is not going to be some magical trick. It takes time to train our mind to think and behave differently in order for stress not to overcome us. You want to overcome stress. So therefore, there are new things that you will need to learn. One of them is really just understanding where you're at. And I've spoken about this before, being self-aware. When you are more self-aware of yourself, you will be able to pinpoint what triggers you, what upsets you, what rattles your cage, what causes you to suddenly feel that adrenaline rush inside, the heart pounding, the walls almost closing in, feeling like you suddenly are flipping over into previous reactions and behavioural responses and the way of thinking that suddenly leave you going, oh my gosh, I'm feeling really stressed. Very often that kind of thing or event will cause you feeling like you have a loss of control when it just comes out of left field. Often you can be just coasting along, feeling really cool, and all of a sudden, bang, something happens. But when this happens repeatedly, and you get thrown from, one place to another, and you feel like you don't have control over the situation or yourself. When you're in a place of stress building and things are happening left, right and center, things are happening with your family, things are happening in your social world, things are happening at work, in your business, and very often they are beyond your control. So you need to learn how to do things differently. I'm often asked, well, what's number one? What's the first thing that I should do? And that's hard because everybody is different. Now, I do think like a practitioner. I've mentioned this before. And I go back to, what does this person need most now? And you're all going to be different. What do you need right now? And that's hard for me to answer because I don't know all of you. I don't know what's going on in your mind. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know how you're physically feeling at the moment. So this mini series, these episodes, are addressed around how to overcome stress. So we've done overcome stress with nutrition, overcome stress with exercise. This time we're looking at overcome stress with your mind. And it is learning to do things differently. One of the things I would recommend is that, and this is in no order, but learn to prioritize your tasks. Getting often the most horrible one out of the way first in your day is the ideal. Now, it may be calling up someone asking for payment. It may be calling somebody and sacking them as a client or a customer. It may be having that difficult conversation with someone on your team. Whatever it is, get the most horrible, difficult task that you need to off your to-do list first. Because then it won't be playing on your mind. And then it won't be distracting you by that, oh gosh, I need to do whatever it is. Make that call, have that meeting, go to the bank. Prioritize. Have the most simple tasks perhaps in the middle of the day or even at the end of the day. I often think for myself that just getting the hardest things out of the way first is easier. And yet you may need to change it up one day. And I notice this for myself, and I have clients and friends who comment on the same, that sometimes we just need to change things around a bit. Maybe getting that difficult task out of the way first, then moving on to doing a few simple and easy things, because that kind of gets you in the rhythm. You know, it's like jumping back on that bicycle or horse again, getting into the flow. And once you get into the flow, then it's easier to jump on to other tasks and other priorities that really are going to demand more of you. That's really important. Focusing on the vital tasks that you have to do that will have the biggest impact is going to give you that sort of 80-20 rule that is so powerful, where, you know, the 80% of what you do will really give you 20% of the results. We want to turn that around, though, so that realistically less effort is going to give you more results. So 20% effort gives you 80% of results. But let's face it, that's a really well-oiled machine that will get there. And if you're under the pump and feeling really stressed and feeling those physical effects of stress that you experience, then it doesn't matter what other strategies are out there. You've got to reel in your own mind and your own thinking and your behaviors and habits. And you've got to be able to change those. So learning to prioritize and note out what you've got to do. I often encourage my clients, do that at the end of the day for tomorrow. So you do it at the end of the day, note down what you've got to do, and then prioritize them. Noting, you know, the number one task, that's the first thing that you've got to do the next morning. And number them from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, however many you've got to do. And that is going to take the pressure off for the next morning, because what you're actually doing is setting up your subconscious. Consciously, you've seen what I've got to do tomorrow. Subconsciously, you are getting the message in, this is what I must do tomorrow. So then when you front up to do that work, it's not going to be an overwhelming shock for your system, and you're not going to have that internal freak out. And you're not going to feel the extra effects of stress overwhelming you yet again and then paralyzing you, or making you feel physically sick, unwell, or headaches, or tummy flip-flops, whatever it is. Next, I often encourage people to schedule downtime. You know, build in breaks for yourself during the workday to recharge. Even 10 minutes. 10 minutes of just quiet time. Sitting quietly. Doing nothing. Putting on noise-cancelling headphones and sitting there just in the peace. And practicing some deep breathing during that time. Focusing on your breath. How that breath feels going into your body, in through your nostrils, out through your mouth. How that actually feels. You can feel your chest rising. How does it feel with that breath going in through the nose, down the airway, filling up your lungs? What does it feel like when your chest rises? Feeling that and just really focusing on that gives your body just that 10 minutes of a break. Next, setting boundaries. This is really, really important. So you may be saying, hang on, how is this all overcoming, stress with my mind? Because I'm going to get to that in a moment. You need to do these things in order to allow you to get in and do real mind work. So setting boundaries is super important as well. Setting boundaries is going to help you to say no when you need to say no, by handing off work to others on your team. Saying no to yourself is actually a really big learning curve for most people, and saying no to others. allowing yourself to keep away from those activities that will further drain you of your energy, of your time, of your well-being. That is a really important thing for you to do. Being present, practicing being present is so important. I've done an episode on this before. You could go back and have a listen to that. But being present allows you to gently bring your attention back to right now. I always remind people, you can't do anything about the past. It's gone. The future hasn't even arrived yet. It's arriving every second. But we are only here now, living in the present, in this present moment. So keep reminding yourself, stop, be present, focus on the right now. Don't look ahead. Don't look at the past. When you look at the past, remembering how things have gone not so well, or this person did this or that, or I'm so stressed, I was so stressed yesterday. By remembering all of that, what you're actually doing is activating the recycling of those things. You don't want to do that. So don't think of the past. Let it go. Remind yourself, it's gone. It's over. Even this morning, it's gone. What can I do right now in this present moment to help me live more fully in this present moment? And it's simply focusing on what you are doing. Focusing on the people that you are with. Listening to them, really hearing what they say. That is a way of helping to reduce stress and allowing you to overcome it. So how are you now going to use your mind to overcome stress? I go back to number one, look at what you know is something that really does cause stress for you to flare. Acknowledgement of those things doesn't make you weak, and there can't be any blaming in this either. There's no finger pointing. He said, she said, it's all their fault. We don't do that. You don't do that. Not anymore. You will look at what are the things that cause you to trip up and to fall in to that stress mode, because by acknowledging that, you can then turn that around. So how do you turn it around? By simply reframing. So instead of looking at the event, the situation, the task, another person, and how that has become an awful thing for you and stressful, stop for a moment, be present, and ask yourself, what's the lesson for me here? What can I learn from this? And how do I change the outcome in the future? And you can do that in the present moment, so that when stressful situations or similar stressful situations arise, and when you're triggered or you find that similar types of things happen causing you stress, you can look at how you can change your reaction and then your responses. By doing that, you're actually setting yourself up for a really powerful transformation, because if you can change your thinking and your behaviors, that is so powerful, because the majority of people on this planet Earth are unable to do that. They're just not able to. So changing your reactions and your responses is easy because you can choose then how you do want to react and respond. So instead of going into the stress mode, and I'm just going to throw a few examples out there, instead of, say, going into the frozen lockdown sick feeling, and then you may feel anger flare from that, or, gross irritation, you can choose, all right, next time this happens, I'm going to say to myself, stop, now choose how you want to respond. I'm going to respond calmly, with a clear mind, and I'm going to take a step out of the situation and remind myself I'm not emotionally tied in this situation now. I need to look at this unemotionally so I can behave differently. Doing that and practicing doing that is going to help you build your own personal power, and instead of letting it go and always falling victim to the same old cycle, you can stop yourself and then choose to behave differently. This does take practice, yet you will notice that as you are able to do that and keep practicing, you get better and better and better at it. You're teaching your subconscious mind how you want to behave, how you want to think and feel, and it will accordingly respond so that each time it actually feels easier and easier and easier, and then eventually you'll be a different person behaving differently. Now, how long will this take? Will it take a day, a week, a month? It'll take as much practice as you put into it. Now, one person who has been doing quite a bit of work on themselves may find that it may only take a couple of weeks. Another may find that it takes more time. It may take them a couple of months. The timing doesn't really matter so much. It's the practice and attention that you pay to yourself, and the willingness and the commitment to making the changes. Practicing positive self-talk is another way of changing how you talk about yourself. We've all done that. We've all spoken badly about ourselves. We've all got into the negative stuff. We've all allowed fear and self-doubt and, the subconscious behaviors and so on to overtake us. I remember when I first wanted to write a book, it was many years ago, and I was all gung-ho at first. Yeah, I can do this. Oh, this is going to be so exciting. Oh, this will be great. This is going to really help a lot of people. And then when I realized I didn't actually know how to do it, that all of the fears and the self-doubt came up. And then the talk. You can't do this. Who do you think you are? What makes you think you can write a book? You're not that special. Oh, you can't do that. You don't have the training. And so it went on. And I procrastinated and stopped, and it took me quite some time then to actually work on my own beliefs and my own confidence to understand I've actually got the skills to do it. I might need a bit of extra help, but that's okay. I can seek out people to do that. But I do know what to do. I do know what to say. I do know how to help people. And so that was the beginning then of writing a book. You must overcome negative talk and replace it. Now, affirmations like, oh, I'm capable of handling this, or I can do this. This too shall pass. They're empty. They're absolutely empty unless you make a choice to step into that end result of what you actually want. Let's just call it a goal. If you have a goal to overcome your stress, to overcome your negative thinking and the talk, all the negative talk that comes up and then spirals and overcomes you, if you really have a desire to overcome that, then step into the goal of overcoming the negative talk. See yourself in the future as not doing that anymore and being somebody who speaks positively, kindly, generously of themselves. You see yourself in the future doing that. This is where some visualization comes in. You can think of yourself being there in the future. Now, the future may be 2 or 3 weeks, it may be a few months, but you see yourself in the future dealing with a situation where you wouldn't act negatively toward yourself, speak negatively towards yourself, and you see yourself in the future doing the exact opposite. You make a commitment and a choice. I choose to do that. I choose to be that person who is positive, who speaks kindly, who speaks well of myself, who is positive. And you commit to that goal. You see yourself doing those things. And then every single time, you notice, oh no, I've done it again, I'm talking that way again, you just turn in the opposite direction and say, I am speaking positively. You remind yourself, I've made this goal, I've made this choice, this commitment. I'm choosing to commit to myself to become that person. What do I need to do now to become that person? And you step into that. Mindful breathing, being conscious about how you are breathing. Instead of allowing yourself, when you feel overwhelmed, breathing a bit more quickly and you feel your chest tightening and sometimes you can hardly even get your breath. You may even forget to breathe for several seconds. Being mindful of your breathing. As soon as you feel overwhelmed, as soon as you feel that stress kicking in, stop and breathe in, take in some slow, deep breaths, and allow yourself to break that cycle. Reminding yourself through your positive self-talk, I am a creative person. I'm having an earthly experience, and I choose to overcome stress in this moment. And repeat that and just breathe in. You can even say things like, I'm breathing in good, calming, peaceful, relaxing air right now. I'm breathing it in. It's calming me, it's healing me. And in that moment you can then choose to behave differently, to think differently. What can I learn from this right now? Now these are just really early steps in helping yourself to overcome stress and how it may be affecting you by using your mind. You've got to start somewhere, so start putting that into practice. The other thing, just finally, the thing that I think is a really good thing to do. So if you're not doing it already, practice gratitude and start to remind yourself in the morning, waking up, what am I grateful for this morning? I'm grateful I had a good sleep. I'm grateful that even though I didn't have a good sleep, I can still function today. I can still do my work today. I choose to be somebody who is grateful today for all I have. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful I have a job to go to. I'm grateful I have a business to run. I'm grateful I have great people around me. Talk to yourself. Faith comes by hearing. So you've got to speak to yourself. You've got to speak to yourself the truth of why you're grateful. And that will start to empower you and help you to see the world, to see yourself, to see your world differently to how you perhaps may be right now. Writing, journaling can be a very helpful thing as well, as long as you're attaching some feeling to it. Just writing empty statements, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my business, that's not going to really mean anything to yourself. when you can attach some real feeling to it, of why you're grateful, what it really means to you, and allow yourself to feel those good feelings that come up, this is where your power is going to start to grow and to surge, and it's only going to serve you positively in the future. Use all this as a starting point for yourself to launch yourself into using your mind to overcome stress. There is so much more that I could teach you. So if you would like to learn more, if you'd like to have a chat about how I can help you really get amazing transformation in your life and radically change your life, then send me a message. You can connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn, and the links are down below. Really happy to have a chat with you at any time. I wish you well today. I hope it's a fabulous day for you. Please like and subscribe, because that does help the dreaded algorithms and get this word out there. Share it with other people, because there will be somebody in your world that does need to hear this today. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you on the next episode in this mini-series.